Man, this film has nothing to do with Batman, yet it's everything Joker 2, Folie à Deux, wanted to be. It stars the Batman himself and is even directed by...
Rachel! Rachel!
Okay.
Rachel!
What up, my sun-up cinephiles? For those of you that don't know me, I'm Patrick.
No, this is Patrick.
I'm a working professional in the film industry, and I'm here to share my unique insights on all things movies, TV, and entertainment news. This week, we're taking a look at Maggie Gyllenhaal's Bonnie and Clyde-esque 1930s take on the classic story of The Bride of Frankenstein.
The Bride of Frankenstein.
The dead have got something to say, and I'm saying it.
Don't we just love a good exclamation mark at the end of a title? Having seen the film, I can tell you that exclamation mark, it's well earned. In The Bride, director Maggie Gyllenhaal manages to shock new life into a long-dead story, violently kicking and screaming into our eyeballs with abundant style and
Feminist rage.
The film takes place in 1930 Chicago, following a lonely Frankenstein, here played by the excellent Bale, a century into his existence, now wandering the earth aimlessly searching for purpose. He approaches a mad scientist in the hopes of finding a life partner. Upon successfully resurrecting a dead woman, played by the soon-to-be Academy Award-winning actress Jessie Buckley, the two find themselves running from the law, falling in love, and slowly seeding a revolution against the mob and the corrupt. Now, this was one of my top 10 most anticipated films of the entire year. Did it live up to that expectation? In some ways, yes. However, this film is a mixed bag. Overall, I'd say I liked it. It's stylistically bold and visually striking. Gyllenhaal brings her creative and brash vision to life. It's a whole lot of movie, and it might not work for everyone. However, I found her creative swings to be exhilarating, even if all of them weren't home runs. There's a device here in which Frankenstein author Mary Shelley is an actual character in the movie. What? A ghost reaching out from beyond, physically possessing our bride from time to time to let her will be known. What the actual fuck is going on? It's an interesting and bold choice, and might not be for everyone. It's very fourth wall breaking. Almost Deadpool-esque. It allows Jessie Buckley to have a lot of fun, suddenly switching on like a dime between two different characters and two different accents. Though I will say early on it becomes a bit much and just a little bit taxing. Now the performances here are spectacular from top to bottom. Jessie Buckley owns this role. It's a powerhouse performance filled with passion, eccentricity, and rage. With this badass character design, there's these like ink blot stains across her body and across her cheek. They seem to symbolize the ink, of Mary Shelley's writing, violently splashing out onto our world. A voice that can't be silenced. Christian Bale, as always, is phenomenal. He makes the character of Frankenstein his own. Shy and a bit awkward, you can feel his loneliness and his yearning. His willingness to do anything for the woman that he loves, even if that means going against his nature and becoming violent. In some ways, this feels like a spiritual sequel to Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, released just last year. Now, I was in the minority with that film as I was not a huge fan.
I don't like it, boo-hoo!
Apart from that film's visual aesthetic and a nuanced performance by Jacob Elordi as the creature, I found the film overall to be a slog. I thought it was boring and honestly a little bit pretentious.
I don't like it, so sue me!
Not to say that this movie doesn't have pretension to it. It certainly does. But here, Gyllenhaal seems to just be having more fun with it, and because of that, I was too. This film wears its film influences on its sleeve, obviously pulling heavily from, like gangster cinema, Bonnie and Clyde being chief among them, and classic black and white musicals from the likes of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. I found it to be an endearing and lovable touch that Frankenstein, or Frank as he's called here, has a deep love for classic cinema. Going to the theaters is the one thing that's physically keeping him alive and his heart beating. Whenever he feels overwhelmed or down, his spirits are lifted by the simple act of going to the movies. I felt very seen here. Am I Frankenstein? Are you Frankenstein? Are we all Frankenstein? In a fun stylistic flourish throughout the film, we see Frank inserting himself into the black and white images he's seeing on screen. Whether he's at a drive-in or a movie theater, he imagines himself as the leading man, with the beautiful woman by his side and the smooth dance moves. Speaking of dance, there's this hyper-stylized flash mob dance sequence about halfway through the film with a music cue from Young Frankenstein. This moment might take some viewers out, but for me, it was fun, amusing, and stylistically fitting of the tone. So where this film initially goes with its ending, I found to be a little bit of a cop-out. But I have to say, the final shot, the last shot of the movie was so poetic, and it just tied everything up in such a moving bow that I just had to tip my hat to its brilliance. All right, pros. Incredible performances from an all-star cast, really cool visual style and some great needle drops, and a super unique take on a classic tale. Cons. You really have to suspend your disbelief a lot. There are several times these main characters would have been killed by cops. It does have some pacing issues. I found myself checking my watch about 2/3 of the way through. The film is overlong and should have been cut down by about 20 minutes. Unnecessary subplots. There's this one involving Penelope Cruz that just kind of feels like this overbearing forced feminism that just feels unnecessary. It's something that's already been accomplished by our main storyline with the bride and just adds padding to the runtime. Every time we cut back to these detectives, the film grinds to a halt. So while overlong and somewhat predictable in its storytelling, The Bride is a stylistically captivating and fun update to the familiar tale, featuring phenomenal performances by its leads and several loving nods to classic cinema. Cinephiles in the art house crowd will eat this one up, but general movie-going audiences might be left scratching their heads. Living up to its namesake, I'm giving The Bride a B. This one here, bona fide banger. If you like this video, consider becoming a Sun-Up Cinephile by liking and subscribing. And tune in every week. I'll be giving my unique insights in the latest in movies and TV, reviews, breakdowns, and entertainment news. Tell me, guys, would you watch a team-up movie between The Bride and Uma Thurman's The Bride from Kill Bill?
Shut up and take my money.